driven events, all the things that I do in my business now. But what I found myself feeling was I was starting to despise the very thing that I thought I was passionate about. So I was dreading going to work. I was working early mornings, late nights. I was marketing every single weekend, and I was just simply exhausted. And at that time, I feel like my vision kind of outgrew the office space. I was like, this is something that I've been passionate about, but there was something more. So my bright idea to get out of a brick and mortar and trading time for money and design my days around my older daughter at the time was to start an online business. And that sounded like a great idea because I had the right idea in mind. I was shifting into that online world, and my highest overhead in my weight loss program were the supplements I was using. So I decided to create my own, formulate and manufacture my own 3 products that went with the detox system. And that's what I did for several years. And I realized that I traded one solo entrepreneur business for another. Once again, I was trading time for money, but now I was responsible for the formulation, graphics, all the marketing, customer service, fulfillment, 24/7. And at that time, because business was getting everything and my work was getting everything, I was slowly losing a large part of myself. Relationships in my life around me were suffering, and I had a little one, and she truly changed my perspective of what I wanted. My desire to be a present mom outweighed my desire to have any recognition of a business of my own. And even though I poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into that business, blood, sweat, and tears, I knew that I needed to change something. I just had no idea that it would be Isogenics. And to be honest, I was probably the most skeptical person on the planet. I said no for 7 years. Like, not even an I'll take a look at a link. It was a hard no, thank you. I want nothing to do with this. So if you have those people, just know that there's hope. And it took the right conversation at the right time. Have you ever heard that? The right conversation at the right time, and the right person that was absolutely open to the type of questions that she asked me. That open conversation of connection is the reason why I decided to take a look at Isogenics. It wasn't even an approach. It was truly a conversation that got to my very deep reason why. And she just asked me, which I use all the time, and Angelique is who really opened my eyes to this opportunity. She said, if you could paint me a picture of your ideal life, what would it look like? And no one had ever asked me that before. I was wearing so many masks. If you looked at my website, it was beautiful. All the marketing, it looked like I had it all together. My name was on a product, right? So if you also think about business builders, people you want to approach, and you think you're too chicken to reach out to them because they're massively successful, honestly, most of us that looked that way have zero time for the people that we love the most, for our families. We're coming home exhausted and stressed. And I needed this nutrition for myself. Even though I had my own product line, I was meal prepping, I was post-baby, I was 10 months in, and I was exhausted. So when she asked me that question, she asked me, would you be making labels if you had your ideal day? I was like, no one cares about this as much as I do. And at that time, I learned a lot about the industry. I joke that I unveiled the curtain of Oz. You guys, you have no idea what you have with our third-party testing and no compromise policy in our ingredients. You have please know what that means, because that for me, I was so shocked because no one else in the industry was doing that. In fact, I was so worried about what was in my product that I couldn't sleep at night because I couldn't afford to third-party test. So when she asked me that question, I started to paint a picture of literally the life I'm living today. I was like, well, I would be hosting seminars, and I would be empowering women, and I would be educating people on health, and I would be building school gardens and greenhouses. I would have all the time in the world for my girls and my family. I would be surrounded by people that with a growth mindset. I would have an amazing business that I get to do versus feeling like I'd have to. I'd be done trading time for money and build leverage somehow. And she goes, I believe Isogenics could be a vehicle for you, but truly you're the only one that can decide that. And if this aligns with your core values, and she knew very much that contribution and my family were big driving factors for me because of the question she asked: who are the most important people in your life? And what would you do for them if you had time and financial freedom? What do you love to do, and what would you do more of? Person from North Dakota, the story of the Cougars, right? The family, founded company, family first, like those sort of things. If you thinking about a business builder joining your team, it has very little to do most of the time with the dangling of the carrot of money. Like that will come. It's how do you align people with their core values and their character traits to a platform and a vehicle that will simply magnify who they are as a person. And that's exactly what happened to me. And, she built my belief that this was the vehicle, but I still needed to do the research and the work to make the decision myself. And I will tell you, your most skeptical people, a lot of times are going to be your best business builders. So do not get backed on your heels by questions. I actually talked to a small gym owner from Ottawa today, and she goes, I don't mean to offend you. And I said, I want to stop you there. When I got on a call like this 4.5 years ago, the type of questions that you're asking me are exactly what I asked my mentor. And because I asked those questions, it meant that I cared about my credibility and my reputation and influence I had with my clients. And because you care so much about your clients, I would hope you ask me these questions. I welcome any question that you have so I can help you gain clarity on why I chose this. So invite questions. And I think those people are sometimes the best because they are the type of people that are all in or all out. Like there's no gray area. So painting a picture of my life before Isogenics, it was an exhausted, stressed mom who absolutely needed to simplify her nutrition physically. I had an exceptional product experience. Like I honestly thought it was placebo because I was in a pretty tough place financially. And I was really praying for what was going to come next. I was so sick and tired of buying my parents candles for Christmas. I was so sick of my student loan payment drowning me every single month. I had no idea how I was going to save for a true home for the girls and I. I mean, it was a financial stress of logging into my bank account and feeling like I was going to throw up every single time. I know exactly what that feels like, and it's suffocating, which is why I'm so passionate about sharing the opportunity, because you cannot have wellness if you are financially stressed. There's just no way. But most of us are wearing those masks, so it takes the right conversation to open people up. And I will tell you, my motivating factor, like to drive through self-doubt and other people's opinions and all the things and I'll share a little bit about what I have had going on in my personal life in the last few months and how I could have easily dipped out because I have the income to do so now. But when you're purpose driven, everything changes. It changes. It gets you up in the morning because it gives you fulfillment to serve people. And when you're going for that next rank, I will tell you, you got to start thinking about deeper, meaningful things, because those things come and go, but what will stay is who you become in the process. Like, get more excited about who am I as a Crystal Executive 3-star? Like, who do I actually have to become in order to make that happen? That is way more exciting than what is on your badge. Because I will tell you, I'll be able to look into your eyes and watch your action throughout the day and your influence and your servant heart for people. And I'll be able to see that that's far beyond the rank that you achieved.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. And hopefully, DelRae, I know in speaker viewer sometimes it's hard to like read the chat and like chat at the same time, but there's
Yeah.
some good commentation in here. And I encourage you guys to stay active and like take your notes in here as well. But I love that part of who you become. And I've heard that in the company before too. And Laura and I always joke like how much we've changed and our friendship has changed and the way that we lead has totally changed, but not because I'm a 5-star and she's a 4-star, because we've doubled our income, but because of all of those things. It's the stories behind the glory, and not ours, it's everybody else's, you know, that come with that growth. And the podcasts we've listened to, and it shows up in every way in your life, you guys. I mean, honestly, like not just your Isogenics business, it will change your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your significant other, your team, your friends. I mean, personal development is legit in this business. So I've got a lot of mamas on here, Jack especially. No, I'm just kidding. But we do have a lot of mamas on here and a lot of mamas with little kids, which I know is totally you. And one of the things that often is asked to me is like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, I've got a 4-year-old that just threw up, like a 2-year-old that just had a blowout on my lap. Like, I got on a call, everybody's screaming, and I don't have kids, right? I mean, I'm a bonus mom now of a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old, but not little ones.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how did you time block your time, or how did you make what sometimes I feel like, you know, is the excuse, the why, or the overwhelm? Like, how did you sort through that? Like, to be able to keep going, and anything, I'm going to let you talk for a minute. So anything from like, how do you design your day, to how do you just give yourself grace? How did you let go of the guilt to get to events? Like any of it, because like, honestly, one of my favorite reasons I wanted to have you on here is not because you're a chiropractor, but because you're a mama, and that's what people need to hear from.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So this is where my story is going to be so relatable. And the reason why is because if any of you struggle with time blocking, I literally called myself the choo-choo like hot mess express train. I'm not even kidding you. Like, watch out. Gianna and I are coming through. I mean, I had no time blocking skills. I had no time management skills. I grew up in a beautiful, positive home, but I called it like organized chaos. So it was something that was kind of adopted, you know, over time. And it just, you know, habits become a part of your DNA. And I knew, so if you want to change any area of your life, and this one I believe specifically, who here wants an exceptionally successful business, Isogenics business with a fulfilled and happy home life? I don't think any of us want to compromise the relationship and the main reason why we're doing this. Yes? What I needed to do is, I didn't tell myself like I need to learn how to manage my time. I need to do this, because when we say that, I feel like, or I want to, a lot of times we give ourselves excuses to dip out of creating that habit. So I looked in the mirror and I said, you must change your habits around your time. Because if you let this get into every area of your life, you're going to sacrifice the relationship, the reason why you're doing that, and that is your girls. So it became such a necessity for me to change it. How many of you do okay with time management, and then like life happens again and you're like, oh yeah, I should probably get back to, anybody do the swing of it? Has it yet become your DNA? Has anybody like mastered their time? Because I knew it has taken me years to master my time. So my point is, once again, what Laura brought up is consistency. It's consistency in a routine. And my routine is Sunday night, I am time blocking my week. I have a yearly calendar, quarterly, monthly, and weekly. So I have a long-term view of the year. I break that down into quarters, month, and then weekly activity. And I have time blocked every single week in chunks based off of the activities that are priority. I have a time blocking video, and what I'll do, Laura, Lauren, rather than go through this, you know, for the next 30 minutes, I'll send that video to you, and I literally show you my highlighters and how I go through my passion planner. Would you all love that? Because it is so helpful. It's helped all my builders that are parents. So, and I have a very candid conversation with my girls, especially if I'm in a 90-day action plan or there's more intensity around a promotion. I have used my girls as, I would say, my number one internal, intrinsic motivating factor every day for my why. But most importantly, I have invested them in our personal mission and vision of creating change on this planet. They know why we get up in the morning. They know why we serve people. They know why I do Isogenics. They know the core values of the company. Gianna at 2 knew Kathy Cooper's voice because I was listening to so many videos. I explain it to her. So, you know, you have heard before, make your kids your reason why instead of your excuse. Like, you've heard all of that. I don't need to be, you know, a repetitive record when we talk about our kids. But what I have seen is a true transformation in my daughters by including them. So if I am doing prep for a happy hour, we're making protein donuts and energy balls together. If I'm doing samples of the kids' smoothies, Gianna is making them and handing them out. If I do a sweat and sample, she's handing out the samples. You know, I include them in the business, and that gives them, number one, a sense of purpose in it. And I am reinforcing positive entrepreneurship behaviors. I share with them my struggles and challenges in the business very openly. I say, you know, mommy got no-showed today. What does that mean? It means that somebody was supposed to show up to this appointment and they didn't. And I want you to know that if you choose to start a business someday, that's going to happen to you too. Like, I normalize frustrations in business, challenges in business. I normalize the fact that our hours are extremely different than most families. And I normalize that our family is unique and different. I'm a single mom of 2 girls from 2 different dads, which was literally my biggest self-limiting belief when I started this, that no one would trust me or believe me. Because who am I? I'm just a screw up. I am just a mess. And who is going to trust that? But I chose to create a new story so my girls could see who I was becoming in the process. And when I stuck to the boundaries of my time, and like we were just at the park for an hour and a half, focused present time is what kids want. They want your undivided attention and undivided focus. So it is phone away, present time. We cook together, we put Sonos on, and we dance together, and we do all of these amazing experiences together now, because I've learned where I literally cannot, if you guys are answering your phone at all hours of the day, you don't have office hours, you're allowing people to not show up on calls, you have to be the one that respects your time before other people will. Once I started to respect my own time, everything changed. I was absolutely serious that these were my work hours, and if you want to meet with me, these are the times that I'm available. In fact, this one guy has been like literally putting off meeting with me, and he's kind of been watching as a business builder, and he reached out, he's like, I'm ready to meet. And I said, I'm going to be honest, with everything I have going on in my personal life right now, I am only taking appointments for people that are serious about transforming their body or aligning with me to create a huge impact in this world through an Isogenics business. If you're one of those, I have Thursday at 2 o'clock to meet. Once you can, and he's like, okay, okay, I'm in, like I am in. So once you start respecting your own time, and at the beginning, that's kind of hard. Like, if, I don't know what phases you are in your business right now, but would you agree, like that kind of posture is like, well, I kind of just want to enroll someone right now, you know, like at the beginning, I get that. But what I want you to realize is by qualifying your time, you are going to get so many more serious people that respect it. So with the girls, once again, if there's a promotion, I will say this, I will literally visually print it out so they see it. Like Disney printed it out. This is what mommy's working for. You check it off every single time. And I've invested them in helping me with little things that actually move the business forward. In fact, this is so funny. I'm not even kidding you. My little one, like literally just recruited a mom at the park. She goes, your daughter just told me that you help moms with their nutrition and you help them start businesses. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I mean, I literally couldn't even believe it. Like, she is now articulating what I say, you know, and that's because she's my little sidekick. So don't think that you can't have fun investing your kids in your business.
So good. And thank you so much for offering to send your time block video. Just like one quick more question about this in scenario, because like life happens, right? Like one of my good friends who's a personal trainer right now, and she recently is building this business, and she's with clients, like actually with clients one-on-one, that she can't like do this, or she's teaching through fitness classes or whatever, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna do this, and then her little one was up, and it was like, oh gosh, and like life just happens. Like, what advice would you be? And I mean, I have a girl in here, she is a mom of 5 boys, and like how she does what she does and makes it happen, I'm like, what? But like, what advice would you have for that permission of like, they're like, oh my gosh, like I can't make a call because I have a kid in the background, or putting those boundaries. And I love what you're saying, that they're part of the why, or making them feel involved. But when you're doing this call right now, like, what is it that you tell your kids? And I love that when you're with them, your phone's away, but how do they also maybe honor and respect that this is your job, or everything that's done for them?
Well, I mean, when Gianna was 10 months old and a year old, I couldn't be like, go in the other room and play. Like, she was on my lap, or I was entertaining her while I was doing calls, or I would do activities outside and do a call at the same time. Honestly, like, this business is built in 15 minutes at a time, and nothing should really take you more than that. So I know more than anybody, being a full-time caregiver, especially of her, that I needed to do for a while. I needed to prioritize doing it with them. Even if she was crawling on my back during a Zoom, I was unapologetic about it. I'm like, this is my life. It's my life. This is it. And I'm going to be honest, that's the most relatable part about this business. In fact, Gianna was cooking I did a little story on this. I had a 3-way Zoom, and it was an intro of a business builder to Angelique and David. And Gianna was on the kitchen counter making energy balls while that was going on. I mean, literally, she was in the Zoom making energy balls. So you don't have to like separate it. Don't wear your mom hat and Isogenics hat. Like, start to think about how you can weave that stuff in and make it fun for them too. So that, I think that's great. And then also just that, lastly, about events, because events and kids, like all of those things. When you have a specific mindset, here's what I find. People that have an owner mindset in their business versus an employee mindset view events differently. And it's truly just a mindset. You can choose whatever you want from this business. But when you are a CEO, when you are building a business, if you truly understand the cost of overhead expenses in a traditional brick and mortar business, or business at all, I'm going to give you examples. Chiropractic office, $15,000 to $20,000 a month overhead before turning a profit. A $200,000 degree, for that kind of overhead every single month before you even make a profit. In that online business, marketing, all the product, everything, $15,000 a month before you make a profit. We eat $150 a month in food. Your expense of your business are truly our events. That is the investment that it takes in you and in your business to build this. So when I have moms that say, I'm like, there's a kids room, or bring them. Or what would it be worth if you found somebody to watch them for 4 days, the type of investment that it will give you mentally and in your business if you truly want to be a 6-figure earner. I have very candid conversations with people about their kids and events, because I literally had no money when I went to my first event. I cleansed because I couldn't afford food. Like, when they gave out the free bars, I was like, thank goodness. I went on a flight with Pibs and double Pibs when I first started. I know what it's like, but I chose to invest in myself and in the business because, to me, it's about choosing your hard. And at that time, I wanted to choose a hard that was going to move me forward in my business and in life. So that's another thing about, and to be honest, all of our local events and experiences, kids are absolutely welcome. I do events where purposefully it's an easy invitation for families to come, or kids, because I want the story of kids being welcome. In fact, I have a single mom that wants to meet as a business builder. She's like, I'm so sorry, I have my daughters on Tuesdays. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, bring her over. They can play while we talk. Are you serious? This is amazing business for that. So where there is a will, there is a way. It's just what your mind sees. Are you seeing the scarcity? Are you seeing the lack of time? Or are you seeing the abundant opportunities where you're mindfully wasting time? Like, I didn't watch TV for 2 years. There's no BB in TV. I eliminated any relationships that didn't up-level my growth or network. I eliminated anything that did not move me forward personally in my growth or the business. And that was so worth it. I didn't miss a Netflix show. I mean, I can watch it now if I want, right? Like, you get what I mean? We are very easily distracted. And because when we're distracted, it means we're very comfortable. And it's so easy to numb our fear with mindless activity. And mine was social media. I eliminated it completely in the morning and at night. And am very strict with my morning and bedtime routine. And it's changed everything in my level of fulfillment.
You're on fire. I love it. Somehow I'm trying to unmute and I turned off my video. Sorry. So good. So good. I love everything that you are just dropping right now. And it's pure heart, which is like my favorite part of it. And I hope you guys are understanding some of those sacrifices, like, because I know DelRae and I know her well, what her life might look like today as an 8-star in the company and someone who, has maxed out the compensation plan. Like, it's different than those first 2 years, but those sacrifices and letting go of the social media, letting go of the TV, letting go of the distractions and saying, you know what, lunch with sushi and my girlfriends is going to be there. But right now I'm building a legacy for my family. And you guys have heard this over and over. The hardest part of this business, if you use the word hard, is getting that plane off the runway. What you can do in 1 to 2 years that's going to set you up. And there's so many people starting and stopping are playing so small, you can't ever get to that place to really enjoy it. And it's been fun to see your journey and just come in and celebrate you along the way. So the next question, which you've just perfectly set up for this, not knowing, one of the things I love to ask anybody when I have, I millionaires on the call or people that have been really successful in network marketing is, what's one thing you wish you could tell your younger self, meaning when you joined in the first 30 days, 60 days, year, that you know now?
It would be have more fun. I mean, I was just in such a stressful place and I was so serious. I think I don't know if I would have even been able to change that at that point. And it grew me as a person to have grown through such a challenging time in my life. But I didn't give myself a lot of grace to just enjoy what I created. So there was a time in my build in like year 2.5 to 3 where I just really let go of any significance or recognition. Like, it just didn't matter to me anymore. I looked at impact and contribution and rising up leaders as the most fulfilling part of this business. And I truly had to let go of where I was in a top income earning rank. Like, it just didn't care anymore, truly. And I realized that those things are going to happen when I focus on the things that give me joy. And so it was just so much less stress for me to be in this position and this type of fulfillment than to try and hold on to a rank or to try and be the next one. It's like I'm focusing on the right activities where that's going to happen anyway, but I'm just enjoying my life so much more. It's been so fulfilling. And I shared at the beginning of the call that I've been going through some really tough stuff, and I haven't been very open about this because it's very private, and this part of my life is very private. But my significant other was diagnosed with cancer, just 3 months ago. And my older daughter's stepmom, and now my grandpa's passing away this weekend, likely of cancer. And I had no idea 4.5 years ago that the girl that was like lonely and stressed and had very little belief in myself at that time was gonna do just so many consistent little things that were gonna add up to a life with so much freedom of choice now. I didn't know these things were gonna happen, but my belief in network marketing is higher than it's ever been because I get to be at every treatment. And I get to be there for my family. And I get to be there to console my older daughter when she's worried that, she's going to lose her. We call her a bonus mom. She's not even a stepmom. It's like, I don't think you guys realize that real life stuff is going to happen, whether it's to you or close people around you. And the choices you make today are building the decisions that you're going to get to have 5 years from now. Think about that because I didn't know that this was going to happen. And if I wouldn't have this, I would have been fired from a job. There's so many things that in my life would look completely different. And I get to serve people every day through the most painful part of my life. And it gives me purpose and joy and fulfillment. I'm not going to a place that I hate every day. I'm getting fueled and fired up by giving. And I just want you to understand that you may think it's small, but when you create consistency around this kind of action, it can change your life and your family's life. So, sorry.
Don't apologize. And I didn't know that you were going to share that. But it is true. And I surely don't want to shift on this about me and take away anything that you just poured your heart into, but you've heard me say that too. Like 5 years ago, when I wanted to just not have all that debt and not be like clocking in and clocking out all these various jobs, like I didn't know I was going to be a caregiver either. And my belief in network marketing is higher too. And, my sister, I'm not sure if she's on this call right now, but Rachel was someone who was victim to breast implant illness, and I watched Rachel build this business from part-time to full-time over 3 to 4 years. And year 4, she was so sick and no one really knew what was going on. She didn't do anything in her business, literally for like a year. And her business didn't grow, you know what I mean? It wasn't like she was rank advancing and like natural momentum, but at the same point, it was sustainable. And she got paid every week, because of what she created. And I watched that, personally enrolled her. And it's my sister that I knew what a day in her life was like as she was so sick and recovering, and watching her get paid. And, Angelique has said a similar story when her mom was passing, that she was able to be there. And you guys, you just don't know. And I appreciate this honesty, because it's true. Like sometimes right now we're focused on the 90-day game plan, which I'm going to wrap up with, or sometimes, we're focused on, cycle growth, or we're focused on wanting to go on a trip. But what I said, what I was screaming in Nashville, like it's so much bigger than you. It's like we are all, in my opinion, being used for a greater purpose, a bigger impact, something that you cannot control yet. I listened to a podcast today, and they're like, you don't connect the dots, like looking forward, you connect them looking back. But sometimes you just have to trust the way things are falling into alignment, that you got to go, oh my gosh, that's why this happened, and unrelated. When I first moved into the suburbs, I called Lori, like in tears, like I'm out of the city. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't believe I just moved out here. And she was like, you realize you're meant to be there. You don't know it yet, but you're going to change someone's life. Like, you are meant to be there. And like, I don't know that now, but like, we'll look back a year or two and be like, oh my gosh, like this is why I ended up out there. Like, you sometimes just have to trust that. So it's so related to this business. And I just really am thankful for your honesty tonight, you guys. And I learned about that just in Nashville from DelRae. So it's real. And you guys, that should motivate you sometimes when you are getting a no, or you think people are rejecting you. When we say like, keep going because someone is praying for you. There is someone else right now that might need to be a caregiver. There's someone else that needs to be able to pay for her 2 little girls. Like, there is some other reason that you keep picking up the phone, that you can't focus on the fact that one a-hole unfriended you. So that being said, you've done many 90-day sprints. You've been with the company, for a few years, and like you've done it. If you could just give any tips for these people to really be able to soar, to rank advance, to maximize this, whatever it is, if it's time management, if it's setting goals, if it's knowing your why, like from you, because they're going to hear it differently. This is a question I'm asking every guest speaker we have on the next 12 weeks. Like, what would be your best advice for this?
I would say get everybody rowing in the same direction at the same time. That is so huge. Like, excitement and enthusiasm around this as a team is what pulls people in like a magnet. People are attracted to energy. Energy is contagious. And when we have all of our leaders building at the same time, recognizing new people, whether it's in the pages or publicly, I truly believe celebrating small wins is one of the most important things that's missed in this business. We wait to share the big ones when those people that are doing their first enrollment, that is what I invest people in when we do a 90-day action plan. It is like heavy, intense, blitzing, and really back to the basics and creating new conversations, networking that first 30 days. So actually every quarter I do a 90-day action plan, and the first month is set up for that blitz of enrollments. And then we really focus on rank advancing and driving those people deep. And we have, once again, I created a marketing calendar for the year. So we drive our challenges during those 90 days. During the 90-day action plan. So everybody's sharing the same thing at the same time. And then we're sharing those results in between the challenges and in between the 90 days, because people can't do things at full speed and full momentum and all in every day of the year. Like there's always going to be a season to a business, season to a life. But if you can get almost like your own circadian rhythm to your business, you are going to be refueled and recharged in between your sprints. You're going to know exactly what to do. So my goal is 20 people in 30 days, the first month of every quarter. And that builds momentum to create. So that creates one consultant a week, one crystal manager a month, and personally enrolled executive every 90 days. And doing the numbers, that's really what it about takes for me to be able to do that. So it might look different for you. But with just intention of really focusing on that first month, and Lauren said it, like the blitz day, right? So like team wide doing things at the same time. And I'm always the person at the 90-day game plan where I'm like, this is great, I'm glad you're all excited, but I don't care what you're going to do when you're excited. I want to know what you're going to do when it gets hard. Like that leader at the beginning of every day 90-day action plan, they know me well enough to be like, we're excited, but I promise we'll be here on the last call. Like they know consistency is my jam. And maybe you all get that too. Excitement only gets you so far. Excitement is when everything's going good. Excitement is fun. What's not exciting is when real life happens, when real distractions happen, and most importantly, in between your two ears of belief. So my number one tip is stay engaged in anything that continues to build your belief, whether it's a Zoom, a call, being engaged with your team, being engaged with your customers. When you feed your focus and eliminate distraction, what's on the front of your brain every day is what's going to produce results. And I've been a business owner for now 13 years. So I always share with people, I did not become an Isogenics millionaire in 3 years. I built my personal development mental capacity to do this business in 13. Do you get what I'm saying? I was doing things that transitioned into this business for 10 years before I started it. So give yourself some grace and say, where am I going to be in 10 years in this? Don't dip out because you don't see immediate results. I was working with this new gal. She messaged me today and she's like, I tried. Everyone I reached out to said no. And I said, are you willing to get up and continue to try for your son? Or is that it? Like, it's going to take a lot more than that. I had about 3,000 conversations with 2,700 no's in the first few years. Like, you guys, that's just the part of the process. So instead of judging your result in this 90-day action plan, I would take a look at who you become in the process by tackling your biggest resistance in this business. Is it you want more joy and fulfillment doing it? Well, what do you need to do that? Is it you want to master your time? Do it every day. Is it I let myself slip over the summer? I need to become a product of the product again and get consistent with the product. Do that. Do those small wins that builds confidence in you, because you're the one that you need to recruit every day, first and foremost. And I ask myself a question when I get up. It's, who needs me on my A game? It gives me a gratitude shift and a mindset that I must become a leader that serves people even though I'm going through the hardest time in my life. Who can I serve today? And at the end of the day, I say, how many people did I help feel valued, seen, and heard today? It's not how many people did I recruit and enroll. How many people did I help feel valued, seen, and heard? Because if I am helping the people in that way, I'm changing the planet. Who needs me on my A game? And when you're not on your A game, when there's some area of your life where you're just kind of like coasting and it's mediocre, what areas of your life you need to up level your standard of excellence. We all know our biggest limiting beliefs. I want you to go to work to master what area you need to create habits in that become a part of who you are. My sister's like, who are you? Like, she walks into my house, my car, like my closet. I'm literally like an organized, I cannot even believe it. I mean, it's just become a part of who I am. I can't think otherwise. It's like I don't even know who that person was. Does that make sense? It just becomes a part of who you are. And then fitness is my movement. It's my therapy. It's my, like, literally, it's my lifeline every day. You know, so make this lifestyle a part of who you are. And then you will invite so much happiness and fulfillment into your days, whether it's a 90-day action plan or not. Does that make sense?
You are on fire. This is so good. I'm like trying to type as fast as I can in the chat just to have the notes for everybody. But you guys, I am going to unmute everybody, and I want you guys just to, like, for real, like, send some love and thank you with everything that's going on that DelRae was able to pour into us tonight for 45 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, you guys.
I feel it. Like, your gratitude, your joy, type in the chat, kisses, like,
Thank you.
Rock star.
You spoke directly to me.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on here tonight. Go be with your man. Go be with your girls. We so appreciate it, and thank you. And I'm really grateful for the time blocking call, and I will get that to you guys as soon as you send it to me. So happy Monday, you guys. Let's go week 2.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.